Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Good evening to one and all present over here. As we know, every ship needs a captain, and we all have Dr. A.K. Sharma ji with us. He's always there for all of us as a craftsman who always tries for our development training programs, as teacher role never ends when the chapters are over. Today, I have been given an opportunity to discuss with you the question paper design for senior classes in biology in class 12. As my senior and respected Hartinder sir had wonderfully explained the Bloom's taxonomy related to the question paper design and development, I would take in brief Bloom's taxonomy and will discuss the biology question paper. Bloom's taxonomy was developed to provide a common language for the teachers to discuss and exchange learning and assessment methods. First of all, coming to vision of NEP 2020. Vision of NEP 2020 says to eliminate the rote learning and predictability with the help of competency-based questions to enhance the 21st century skills among the learners. The competency-based questions assess critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, and decision-making skills. These questions test whether the children are able to apply their knowledge and understanding to solve the real-life problems. That is, we can say the key tool to assess the competences among learners is Bloom's taxonomy. Briefly discussing the domains of learning, in Bloom's taxonomy, there are 3 domains, that is cognitive, dealing with mental skills and knowledge, affective, that is attitude and self-learning, psychomotor, that is the manual or the physical skills. To talk about how the teachers can use Bloom's taxonomy Bloom's taxonomy is one of many tools that faculty can use to create effective and meaningful instructions. They can use it to plan new or revise existing curriculum, to test the relevance of course goals and objectives, to design instructions, assignments, activities, and to develop authentic assessments. This is in general a pyramid having 6 rationales of the Bloom's taxonomy. That is to remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. Remember, understand, and apply, they come under the lots, but we can say apply, analyze, evaluate, and create, they are the hots. In remember, we follow the recalling the facts and the basic concepts. The understanding is to explain the idea or the concepts. Applying is to use the information in new situations. And analyzing is to draw the connections among the ideas. Evaluate is to justify the statement, to stand with or give the decision. And creating is to producing a new or the original work when we are applying the knowledge to unknowns. These are certain verbs which can be used in the Bloom's taxonomy. That is, in remembering, we can use copying, the outlining, the memorizing, the identifying, the defining, etc. In understanding, we can use estimating, extending, etc. Applying refers to the implementing or experimenting. The interviewing or the analyzing is, we can say that when it is divided into micro concepts, the evaluating is detecting or assessing, and creating is to follow it in an innovative ideas. That is to apply the knowledge to unknown facts. Directly coming to the core structure of biology, as we have 5 units in +2, the reproduction unit is of 16 marks, genetics and evolution is of 20 marks, biology and human welfare 12 marks, biotechnology and its application again 12 marks, ecology and environment 10 marks. leading to a total of 70 marks of theory, and 30 marks, we all know that is for the practical exams. This is the unit-wise marks distribution. In the unit of reproduction, we have 3 chapters. That is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. That is for 3 marks. Human reproduction for 5 marks. Reproductive health for 5 marks. These total comes out to be 16 marks. The unit of genetics and human welfare, we have again 3 chapters. Principles of inheritance and variation for 5. Molecular basis of inheritance for 10. And evolution again for 5, that is leading to 20 marks of this unit. Next is biology and human welfare. Human health and diseases and microbes. 2 chapters are there in this, having 8 and 4 marks. Biotechnology and its applications. First one is the principles and processes, and second is its applications. So again of 8 and 4, that is 12 marks for this unit. Ecology and environment, again we have 3 chapters. Organisms and population, ecosystem, biodiversity and its conservation. These are for 4, 3 and 3 marks respectively, mounting to be total of 10 marks. That is total, we can say it is of 70 marks theory paper. My dear colleagues, this is the question paper design as given by CBSE. They say that demonstrating knowledge or understanding, or we can say remembering and understanding competencies, they account for 50% of the exam or the theory paper. Application, that is applying concepts, that is for 30%. And the HOTS, that is analyze, evaluate and create, that is for 20%, coming out total to be the 100%. Next, typology is given, that is very short answers, including MCQs. There are 12 MCQs, 4 assertion reasons, short answers, 2 marks, 3 marks, 2 case-based study questions of 4 marks each, and 3 questions of 5 marks each. They have given certain verbs for these competencies. That is for remembering and understanding, we can use the identifications, definitions, outlining. For applications or apply, we can use to calculate, to explain, to distinguish, to differentiate. And for analyze, evaluate, and create, we can use interpret or justify the statement for evaluation and construct anything for the create. This is the blueprint of the biology question paper of chapter-wise as well as unit-wise distribution for the sample papers which we have taken. That is MCQs. There are 12 MCQs. There are 4 assertion reason type questions. There are 5 2 marks questions. There are 7 3 marks questions. There are 2 case-based study questions of 4 marks each. And there are 3 5 marks questions. And those have been distributed amongst different chapters of different units. You can very easily see from here, but a little bit of changes can be there in these blueprints. As sir has already discussed that we should make the blueprint first, not the question paper first. So blueprint is a must that should be made according to the competency skills. This is the sample paper of biology which we have taken. In this, we have taken the question paper, questions, as well as the competencies, as well as the marking scheme, which is very important. In biology question paper, we have total of 33 questions as already discussed. 5 sections are there, 16 questions of 1 mark, which will have 12 questions as MCQs and 4 questions as assertion reasons. B section has 5 questions of 2 marks each. C section has 7 questions of 3 marks each. And 4th section is of 4 marks each. That is the case-based study questions. Section E has 3 questions of 5 marks each. Internal choices are given. And wherever necessary, the students have to draw the diagram. We always guide them to draw the diagram in every questions wherever required, except 1 mark question. Because that may be MCQ, that may be assertion and reason. So diagrams, they are to be drawn if they are there related to any question, whether it is of 2 marks, 3 marks, or 5 marks question. Now, coming to the question paper, sample question paper as given by the CBSE few days back. In first question, we can see this is just a remembering question, because in this we have to select. This is the choices which are to be selected for the signals for parturition in human females. That is directly, it is a simple question which is related to the remembering portion. Second one is, in this the student has to calculate the data. That is, to produce 1600 seeds, the number of meiotic divisions required will be, the student has to calculate. So this we can see it can come under analysis, because in this meiotic division has been asked after fertilization, egg, the divisions, the number of divisions, the pollen grains that have to be calculated, how much they are required, because each microspore mother cell after meiosis, that leads to the formation of 4 pollen grains. So 4 into 400, that is 400 meiotic divisions will result in the production of 1600 seeds, pollen grains. So we can say formation will be 1600 seeds plus 400, that is 2000 in number. Next one is, again, they have to calculate the percentage, or we can say according to the nitrogenous bases present in the DNA. A sample of normal double-stranded DNA was found to have thymine content of 27%. What will be the expected proportion of guanine? Here we follow the Chargaff's rules. That child has to remember the Chargaff's rules, that is A equal to T, G equal to C. But here, whatsoever the percentage is there, he has to calculate. For example, thymine A is 23%, because they have to calculate guanine. So Chargaff's rules, A is equal to T and G is equal to C. Here they have given T. So in DNA also A equal to T and G equal to C. So A plus T plus G plus C will be 100. So they have given T is equal to 27%. So A equal to T is equal to 27%. So in this way, they have to calculate whether it is asked for G or C. So this also comes under analysis. Again, the 1 mark questions are there. That is, they have given a diagrammatic view of the DNA and the bonds are given. In this, the concept has been bifurcated into micro concepts. They have asked about the correct sequence of nucleotide in 5' to 3' direction. They have given a sequence, that is, the sequence that has to be taken into account is the B portion, that is the CGTA, because accordingly from one, the another bond, so they have to see the micro concepts and analyze the answer. So this also comes under analysis. Next, they have given 2 criterias, that is, they have shown 2 columns in which 2 diseases are given of 2 different people. Again, the diseases, they have been the parts, that is, of a major part has been bifurcated into 2 smaller portions, 2 smaller parts, or we can say concept into the micro concepts. So again, they have to see through it. This also comes under analysis type of questions. Next, the child has to remember what is there in lactose operon model. That is, whether it is switched on or switched off. Very simply, he or she has to remember what will be present when it will be switched on and what will be present when it is switched off. So it comes under remembering portion. In the marking scheme also, we can see all the MCQs directly, they are of 1 marks. No bifurcation of any other marks are there. Next questions, all these are related to 1 mark MCQs only. That is the first portion, the 7th question you can see. This is the mechanism of sex determination in honeybee. Again, it has 2 parts, that is having the females having 32 chromosomes and the males having 16 chromosomes. So they have been bifurcated into different micro concepts. So this is a case of analysis. In 9th question, you can see the child has just to remember what is there which leads to the rising of the dough in idli or dosa. That is a portion of a question of understanding. That is directly he or she has to give the answer of carbon dioxide. Then in the 11th question, again, the columns are given. They have been bifurcated into 2 simple micro concepts. So this is a case of analysis. See, EcoR1, that is the restriction endonuclease that cut the DNA into two bases, G and A, at a specific site in palindromic sequences, that is GAATTC. So the number of nucleotides have been asked in the resultant sticky ends in both the directions. That is, we can say in both the strands of the DNA they have asked. So we will have to find it out. They have to see in vector DNA as well as the foreign DNA. So this is a case of analysis. Coming to the questions of assertion and reason, as Sir has very well explained about two things in this, mostly the assertion and reasons, they are the questions of analysis. They have to first find and then to see whether it is right or wrong. So this is a case of analysis. Now coming to the section B, that is having 2 marks questions. In this, the choice is given because as we have already seen in the design of the question paper, that 33% internal choice will be given in the questions. So in this, the choice is given. A child has to attempt any one question out of 2. Here we can say this is a case of evaluate. That is, they have to justify the answer. Because it has been asked that all copulation, a statement has been given in which it is written all copulations will not lead to fertilization. They can write justify the statement. This is a case of evaluation. So they have to give the reason for the time period, for the days when fertilization can take place. They have to justify the statement. So this is a question which is a case of evaluate. Next, again, an internal choice has been given in another question of 2 marks. Here the strands are given. This is also a case of evaluate. That is, the strands are given. They have to justify between 2 strands, 3 strands, where the mutation is taking place. See, in the first case, it is a point mutation. We can see the first amino acid is methionine AUG. Second one is CAG. Third one, next amino acid ACA, that is threonine. Fourth is UCU. And the last one, UAG, that is the stop codon. No amino acid. In mutation 1, they have shown that there is just one base pair changed. Instead of CAG, it is AAG. That is, it is lysine now, because one nitrogenous base can change the amino acid. Rest all is the same. In the second type of mutations, they have shown after AUG, it is AGA. One A nitrogenous base has been deleted, just one base. So this leads to the shifting of the frame, that is AUG, AGA, CAU, CUU. You can see amino acids have been changed, stop codon is not there, and the frame has shifted to one direction. So we can say this is a frame shift mutation. So this is there where they have to give the reason for justifying this answer. So this is a case of evaluate. Next, 19th question, you can see a graph is given. In this, different concepts are there. One is T cell count, one is virus cultured in the blood. That is, they have shown the relationship between the HIV levels in the blood and helper T cell count. That relationship, they know it, how to apply it, and this is a case of analysis. To the known facts, they are to apply the relationship between 2 bifurcated things. That is, a concept has been bifurcated into 2 micro concepts. So this is a case of analysis. In the next question, 20th question, this is a very simple question. That is, a culture plate of lactobacillus shows blue colored colonies and colorless colonies. Explain the principle involved in the formation of such variance in the color of the colonies. Here we can say they are just asking about the transformants and the non-transformants in biotechnology. So we can say this is a very simple question, direct question, explanation question. They're directly asking for the explanation of the concept. So this is a case of understanding. Again, in next 2 marks question, they have given internal choice again. And you can very easily see in the first choice, they have given a question, explain why pyramids of energy must always be upright. In this, the student has to explain what 10% energy law is. Then that child has to correlate this 10% energy law with the loss of energy at the highest level, with very less amount of energy reaching at the upright level. And very simply, the student can explain that the previous level organism cannot eat the next level organism, which has already been dead, which has already been eaten. So pyramids of energy, they have to justify this statement by explaining it in details. So justification, explaining that is evaluate. Next part, we can see the image is given, 2 seeds are given, they are belonging to the same species, but very beautifully they have explained, they have asked, they have told about the apomixis concept, and the second concept they have given is of sexual reproduction in plants. 2 concepts they have given, but leading to the production of seed. So this is again concept into 2 different concepts, that is micro concepts. And on the basis of those concepts only, they have asked different questions, that is embryos in seed X or seed Y, multiple formation, what we say is the polyembryony in case of some citrus plants also. Advantages that plants will develop from seed Y and why not. So this is a case of apply. This questions section next is of the 3 marks questions. In this, they have given certain questions of understanding, simple questions also, and the questions of analysis also. In understanding, again, they have asked very simple question to name the place in the human ovary where the first meiotic division is completing during oogenesis. That is, the child knows about the process of meiosis. The child knows about the meiotic division because in the gametes, in the males and the females, they have to be reduced to half the chromosomes so that the copy, when coming from both the parents during sexual reproduction, the original zygote formed will have the same number of ploidy, that is the same number of the chromosomes as originally the organism have. So this is a very simple question of understanding. Next question they have given is of analysis. We can very easily say, diagrammatically they have shown the process. That is, during the process of replication, DNA is forming RNA, RNA is forming proteins. That is, further we can say concepts are going on. If the child knows about replication, he can tell about transcription and translation. When RNA is formed or when protein is formed, very simply, this can be said as the movement of, we can say, the genetic code or information from DNA to proteins. That is the central dogma. So in this, very simply, it has been asked process of replication and transcription. That is 2 concepts. So this is a case of analysis. In the C question, you can see, C part of this question, they have asked justification that why this process is only a segment. So here it can be a case of evaluate. Next we can say is to describe the steps involved in southern blot hybridization using radio-labeled VNTR as a probe. Directly, the children have to answer about the VNTR probes, the process of southern blot hybridization, that is directly step by step, they have to give the answer. So this is a question of understanding. These are again the long questions. Biofertilizers are the organisms that enrich the nutrient quality in the soil. Again, a question of understanding, because the child has to explain directly the roles of the main sources of biofertilizers. For example, the child knows about nodulated plants, the child knows about cyanobacteria, the child knows about fungi. By giving examples only, by naming the organisms only, he or she has to give the answer. Because this is very simple, biofertilizers the children, the humans, we people are making at homes also. So this is a very remembering and understanding question. Next question is again understanding question, but in this the child can answer in two ways. He or she can answer the question diagrammatically, or he or she can answer the question in paragraph form also. That is, such simple questions can be asked in any ways. And CBSE also give full marks whether they are answering in a diagrammatic way also. Next, again, a diagram is given. Here, two concepts are given. We can say two micro concepts are given. You can very easily see there are different species of warbler birds, again feeding on different regions. Here, two concepts given are, when they are to answer, one is resource partitioning, another is, we can say, the same tree where they are living due to their behavioral differences. Resource partitioning is different, behavioral differences, they are different. So this is a case of analysis. And in Gauss exclusion principle, does it apply in case of the case shown above? This is very simple and they can answer it in the form of direct answers, either yes or no. Only they have to explain the Gauss exclusion principle. So this is very simple question of remembering and understanding, we can say. Case-based study questions, they are all related with analysis. You can see bifurcation of the questions are there. In this also, in some cases, in some question papers, in some sample papers, I want to say, you can see the internal choices can be given. Here also they have given one internal choice in one question, but this is here, again you can see calculations are there. They have to do the calculations and then they can come to the point. So this is a case of analysis. Next case-based study also you can see, this is also a case of analysis. A graph is given. They have to go through the graph. According to the time period, they have to do the calculations. Then only they can answer. They have to write about the factors of different patterns of temperature so that they can analyze the question and can give the answers. The last section, that is section E, which has 5 marks questions. They are long questions. In this, they have given choices. One choice we can see is related to evaluation and another choice is of understanding. In this, they have to choose either A or B. You can see in second question, one is understanding or evaluation. That is, they have given both the choices. In both the questions, they have taken the same pattern. This is a case of a condition in which the sperm count decreases and the child has to answer the question accordingly. That is, the child has to identify the parameters. The child has to see whether the disease the person is suffering from is related to any condition in which he cannot give the sperms. He had to give about assisted reproductive technology which will well suit to the person. Then he has to explain the assisted reproductive technology, because according to the checkup done on these persons, assisted reproductive technologies, they are done, but they are done accordingly which best suits the persons. So they have to evaluate it, what will be justifying for it, what treatment can be given to the child, what person, or what we can say the person can undergo any proper assisted reproductive technology. Second is related to the understanding. In this, they have to give a simple explanation giving the significance of the features present in the plants. They have asked about a roseway plant, the stamens rise before the stigma. That is, they want to say that the child should have a proper understanding of that in this, the pollen, the stamens, they ripen before the stigma. This means this is a condition in which they are protecting themselves from self-pollination. In certain species of primors, the flowers have short stamen and long style. Again, we can say that is autogamy. That is, they are protecting themselves from the self-pollination. Third is the bisexual flower of mustard exhibits rejection of self-pollination grain. That is pollen-pistil interaction. This means these devices, the child should know, the child should remember and should understand that these are very simple, only the language has been changed. Now, the next they have asked is, explain how autogamy is prevented in castor and papaya plant respectively. That is because there is no proximity preventing self-fertilization in castor. So in papaya, the male flowers and the female flowers, they are present in different plants. As we know, then in case of unisexual flowers, monoecious and dioecious plants are there. In monoecious plants, mono means single. Male and the female flowers, though unisexual, they are present on the same plant. As in case of cucurbita family, we see. The larger, the yellow colored flowers, they are the male flowers. The smaller cream colored or light yellow colored flowers, they are the female flowers. But in case of papaya, we can say two different plants are there. The plants which bear papaya, that is the female papaya plant, dioecious, two different plants. And the plant which is not having the papaya as a fruit, that is the male plant. That is required in proximity because with pollination, the male pollen grains will reach the female plant to fertilize so that the papaya can be produced from the ovary. So this is a simple case of understanding where the child will understand about the monoecious plants, the dioecious plants, the bisexual flowers, the unisexual flowers, the pollen-pistil interactions, and various outbreeding devices. Again, they have given choice in the next question. That is, explain how advent of biotechnology has helped in preventing infestation by nematodes and thereby increasing crop yield. In this, the child will remember that Miledogyne incognitia infects the root of tobacco. The child has to understand the RNA interference technology so that he or she can discuss the method of silencing of specific mRNA due to the complementary double-stranded RNA, which will bind the RNA and prevent translation of RNA. That is simply by using the word silencing, this method can be explained. In this, the second part, the second choice is of evaluate. In the future, genetic therapies may be used to prevent, treat, or cure certain inherited disorders in humans. Again, they have asked to justify the statement with a suitable example. So wherever the justification is asked, a simple statement is given, but the child has to think critically to justify this statement, to justify the answer, whether it is correct, why is it correct, how is it correct. So they have to give a complete explanation of ADA deficiency, the enzyme therapy in this. So this is a case of evaluation. Next, we can see in the last question, the 5 marks 30 question, number 33. Why is there a need to conserve biodiversity? Name and explain any two cases that are responsible for biodiversity. Nowadays, we talk very commonly related to environmental losses. Mostly whenever we ask the students, they will simply answer from their general observations why there is a need to conserve biodiversity, because they know a very simple word of extinct. Then they can talk, we need these things, we need resources to survive, we need this. This means they are talking of themselves, they are talking of narrow utility. When we talk about sustainable development, they talk about broad utility. So this is a very simple case of understanding. Students can answer it very easily, but examples should be quoted with it. For example, during the COVID times, it was seen in China that honeybees, they are the main pollinators. The people were seen dusting the pollens with the help of toothbrush by keeping a ladder near the tree so that pollination can be done. So the students know about the concept of pollination. They remember the concept of the importance of pollinating agents, especially the honeybees, which are the main pollinators. So this is a case of understanding. Next choice they have given is That is, name the two types of desirable approaches to conserve biodiversity. Explain with examples, bringing out the differences between the two types. So again, very easily they can give this answer. State the features of a stable biological community. Here is the answer key. That is two conservations, in situ and ex situ. They know it how to conserve the species in botanical gardens, in museums, in national parks, in wildlife sanctuaries, and they know the difference about endemic species, the sacred groves, the pollen grain banks. So they can answer it very simply by their understanding that whether it is in situ conservation or it is ex situ conservation. And next, it was asked about the features of a stable biological community. That is productivity, related to the productivity. Whether it is occasional, it is man-made, it is natural, so it must be conserved and it must be resistant to the alien species. So we have thoroughly gone through this question paper and have evaluated each and every question to which competency-based skill they belong to, whether understanding, evaluation, application, remembering, creating, and so on. So in general, we can say the 6 categories of Bloom's taxonomy, starting from the remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. Remembering, I repeat once again, it is recognizing and recalling the facts. Understanding is understanding what the facts mean. When the concepts, when the knowledge is being applied, the rules, concepts, and ideas that is applied. When we break the concepts into micro concepts, that is breaking down information into component parts, that is analyze. And when we are judging, that is justifying, that is evaluate, that is judging the value of information or ideas. And the most important is to create, that is combining the parts to make a new whole, that is innovation, that is to create. So we can say, again, recalling the facts and the basic concepts is remember. Explaining the ideas or concepts is understand. Using the information is apply. To draw the connections among ideas is analyze. To justify a stand or decision is evaluate. And to produce a new or original work is to create. These resource materials are wonderful resource materials based on competency-focused practice questions. These two have been released by CBSE. The volume 1 and volume 2 in biology, there are 2 volumes. Other books are also available for all the subjects. These are very much helpful for the students, and every question, chapter-wise, topic-wise, have been given along with the competency skills, along with the answer keys. So to conclude, I can say, by integrating the principles of Bloom's taxonomy into the design of question papers, the educators can assess the depth of understanding, can empower the students to demonstrate high-order thinking skills, can ensure a comprehensive evaluation that reflects the true essence of education. So, my dear colleagues, framing the question papers according to Bloom's taxonomy improves the assessments, it improves the instructional design, and help the educators align their teaching strategies with the desired learning outcomes, thus ensuring that the curriculum, learning activities, and assessments work in harmony to facilitate the comprehensive understanding and skill development. These are 3 examples of the questions which we can say. First one is the MCQ related to the understand. In this, generally, the selection is being asked, that is a female gametophyte of a flowering plant. We talk about the embryo sac, in which when it is 8-celled, it is having haploid. When it is 7-celled, It is having two cells which are fused, forming a diploid structure, and six cells towards three towards micropylar end and three towards calyzal end, which are haploid. So just by knowing this, the child can simply answer that it is situated inside the integument but outside the nucellus. It has an egg apparatus situated at the calyzal end. So the answer is that is it is 8 nucleate and 7 celled at maturity, and it is free nuclear during the development. A very simple basic question. Next question is the assertion reason. In an example, assertion reason, two things are given. They have to first check the correct ones. So this is again a question of analysis. Last, pyramid of energy can never be inverted in a natural ecosystem. Justify the statement. Again, they have to give a detailed account to justify this statement. That is, they will be talking about 10% energy law. They will be drawing the pyramid of energy. They will be giving a food chain. They can correlate it with that shorter the food chain, more is the energy. Longer the food chain, less is the energy. Or we can say vegetarian diet is always better than non-vegetarian diet. So they have to justify the statement. So this is a case of evaluation. Thank you so much, friends. This is all for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I invite Ms. Suman Joshi, PGT Biology, BVP Jaipur, to extend the vote of thanks to Dr. Gurpreet Kaur.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
I feel privileged to thank dear God, Dr. Gurpreet Kaur ma'am, XII Public School, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, for this informative session. Ma'am, you have covered all the necessary requisites which should be the part of a good competency-based question paper. And you have covered like all the requisites like 3 domains, then typology, then blueprint. Thank you for sharing your expertise. I extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. A.K. Sharma sir for organizing this session, which will make a significant impact while preparing the question paper. Thank you all and have a great weekend.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.